Welcome to the Horror Unmasked podcast,
where we unmask the monsters
and explore the lore.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Lily. And today we will be dissecting
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Let's go to sleep.
In Springwood, Ohio, a high school girl named Tina wakes up in a sweat after having a feverish nightmare about a man with knives for fingers attacking her. The next day after school, Tina has her friends Nancy, Glenn, and her boyfriend Rod stay at her house to comfort and protect her after her nightmares. We then discover that Nancy has also been dreaming about a man with knife fingers.
Wow. Coincidence?
Yeah.
I think not.
That night, when Tina falls asleep, she's attacked by the man again, but the dream becomes reality, and Tina screams as 4 deep cuts appear on her stomach. Rod wakes up from the screaming and sees what's happening to Tina as her body begins to levitate and she is dragged up the wall and across the ceiling. Which is intense.
That scene is intense.
Fucking insane to watch.
It really is. When she started levitating, it was a little funny, but then she started getting dragged across the wall and then the ceiling, and I was sitting there like, what on earth?
Yeah.
Whew.
Imagine being in his position.
No.
Fucking unreal.
Just no. Because he's just sitting there watching an invisible person drag her.
Yeah.
And there's nothing he can do about it.
Nope. Absolutely nothing.
Because he gets knocked over himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day he's arrested. Rod is arrested and accused of murdering Tina. After the traumatic experience, Nancy begins having more vivid nightmares about the man who killed Tina. She starts to realize that her dreams might be reality when a burn she got within them is still on her arm when she wakes up.
Which is terrifying in general.
Yeah.
The idea that you can be having a dream where most people are like, oh, this is just fake. And then you just fucking wake up with like a scar from your dream.
Yeah.
No.
I'm okay. While in jail, Rod falls asleep and is also killed by the man in their nightmares, hanging him with his own bedsheet. Nancy freaks out and tries to tell her parents what is really happening, but her mom ends up taking her to a sleep study center. During the study, Nancy pulls the hat off the man that has been attacking her and her friends out of her dream. Later, Nancy tells her mom that the hat belonged to a man named Freddy Krueger, as it's written in his hat.
Spoiler warning. Skip ahead. After putting bars on all the windows, Nancy's mom reveals that Freddy was a child murderer who was killed by a group of parents, including Nancy's mom, by burning him alive in a boiler room. Nancy tries to protect herself by staying awake for long periods of time and tries to get Glenn to help her defeat Krueger, until he attacks and kills Glenn in the most intense way possible.
Yeah.
Making it so there was nothing left of him but blood.
Lots and lots and lots of blood.
Yeah, an unreasonable amount of blood.
Like the Shining amount of blood, like it amount of blood.
Yeah. With Glenn gone, Nancy sets up traps before falling asleep to pull Krueger from her dreams like she did his hat. Nancy is able to pull Krueger out, set him on fire, and cause him to seemingly lose his power by telling him he is just a dream as he disappears. The next morning, Nancy wakes up to find everything back to normal and all of her friends alive, until nothing is as it seems when Krueger attacks Nancy's mom while the group is trapped in the car. The nightmare far from over. The end. Also, number one, you know something's going on when the hood of the car goes over and it's Krueger's jacket, like shirt. But also, the fucking way that the mom's pulled through the fucking window is dumb as shit.
It is dumb as shit. It's really bad.
It's very bad, but like, you know, I can let it pass.
No, I can't. I
Because
don't let
it's
anything like that
old.
slide. I thought it was cool.
An older film, but
Like-
it's also just like, goddamn.
because Glenn's car is like a red convertible, so when the top comes up, it's like striped like Kruger's sweater.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. But then the mom gets pulled through the window, and it's like,
In the
well, now you're just
weirdest
ruined
way
it. Like,
ever.
it's like a dummy that gets
Yeah.
pulled through, and you can tell
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it is. It's like a mannequin. It's so
Literally.
stiff.
Literally.
That's okay.
Literally.
That's okay. This movie is an oldie.
This movie was released November 16th, 1984.
That's the day after your birthday.
The director is Wes Craven. Distributed by New Line Cinema and Filmflex. Now, I do have their budget and box office.
Okay.
Now, their budget was $1.1 million.
She low. But in the 80s...
Holy shit.
that was 40 years ago.
That's less than that. That's shockingly small. Shockingly small.
But that was exactly 40 years ago.
Yes. Yep.
40.
Yep.
Johnny Depp is old now.
Yeah.
He's such a baby in this movie.
Yeah, he is.
He's so hot. His little crop sweater while he's on the phone.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So, and their box office was 57 million.
Yeah. So, not really high numbers at all.
But for the time, probably pretty decent.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, this movie's pretty short, an hour and 31-minute runtime. And it got a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
not too bad.
pretty good.
Not too bad.
Our main actors, we have Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, the man, the myth, the legend. Heather Langenkamp as Nancy. Johnny Depp, my boy, as Glenn. Amanda Weiss, however you want to say that, as Tina. JSU, as JSU Garcia as Rod. And then I have Ronnie Blakely as Nancy's mom, and then John Saxon as Nancy's dad.
Yeah.
They're kind of like sort of in there.
Yeah.
But
because it's Lieutenant Thompson.
yeah, Lieutenant Thompson.
Yeah.
Donald.
Yep.
Because he's obviously lieutenant and is like a cop.
Yeah.
And is the one who checks out Glenn's body. Which, by the way, Glenn and Nancy were dating.
Yes. Yeah.
They were together, and they were like across the street neighbors.
Yeah.
So
they could literally look through their windows and see each other.
It was cute. It was really cute.
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
Alrighty. I'm going to go for it, yeah?
Yeah.
So, something I don't have in my notes here, but I did find when I was scrolling through the gram was apparently while filming this movie, at one point in time, Robert Englund fell asleep in his makeup.
Aw.
And when he woke up and looked in the mirror, he scared himself.
Oh, he was like, am I still in a dream?
He scared the shit out of himself because he fell asleep in his prosthetic makeup.
Oh, sweet man.
I thought that was amazing. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, Freddy was inspired by Klaus Kinski's Nosferatu.
Oh?
But also by a monster.
I was like, wait, what movie are we watching right now? What movie are we talking about right now?
Yeah.
No, that's literally where my brain went. You were like, he was inspired by Nosferatu. I was like, what the fuck was inspired by Nosferatu? What are we talking about right now? Wait. I had to shift gears.
Yeah.
Still thinking about it.
Yeah. Freddy was inspired by Nosferatu.
Awesome.
But also by the monsters that Lon Chaney created.
That is the man with 1,000 faces.
That is the man with 1,000 faces.
Like, literally.
He is a mastermind. The way Freddy always stands with his legs far apart.
Yeah, he runs that way too. It's funny.
So that was something that they had taken from James Cagney, a pose that signifies sheer power.
I don't know. I think he just looks goofy.
He looks goofy. So people wondered why Freddy had this strange posture with his right shoulder slouched.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually because the claw was so heavy, it weighed his arm down.
What?
But they ended up liking the way that it made... He specifically liked the way that it made him look. Like he was a cowboy. Get ready to draw a gun.
Yeah. Yeah, with his hat and everything.
With his hat and everything. Yeah. So, Freddy's claws actually had to be its own character.
Yeah, they're iconic.
An extension of evil. Mm-hmm. But they also wanted it to be mildly erotic.
Honestly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah. Some people said Freddy was a pervert and a pedophile. Mm. They criticized the way that our sweet actor, he's acting, but people criticized the way that he licked his lips at the teenagers as they haunted them in their dreams. But that was forgetting that Freddy is invading people's dreams. Mm-hmm. It's a very private and intimate thing.
Yeah.
Also, he's a child murderer.
He's a child murderer, so that's most likely the case here.
And I know that we are not going through the rest of the movies itself, but in the most modern version, which is
no, please talk
Wes
about them.
Craven's New Nightmare, which is the one that we would have done in combination with this one, is a remocking telling of this story, but in reality, like in that version of it, the Freddy Krueger character is a pedophile, like is a creep. He has a secluded location in, like, I guess the home that he had lived in, that our main actress, she was a victim of his.
Oh no.
And he had like a secluded specialty hidden room that he would bring children into.
Which, honestly, that's reality. That's usually how.
Yeah. So he was
work. Yeah.
a creep.
That is really creepy.
Yeah. So, and I can get into a little bit of some of the stuff in some of the other movies, but it's fucking, it's fucking wild.
I'm sure. There's how many?
I don't know, man. There's so many. Here's what I'll say. There's a strong grouping of the movies that are essentially superpowered people fighting Freddy Krueger. Because it's the Dream Warriors.
Oh, yeah. Isn't there one where it's like Freddy in outer space or something? Or is that...
Nope, that is Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
No.
Jason.
Yeah, Dream Warriors is its own weirdness because it's essentially people in an institute, a group of people in an institute, and they all go to sleep, and when they wake up in their dreams in this like weird group session dream sequence thing, they all just suddenly gain powers, and the kid that can't talk can talk, and the one girl's like super badass, and one of these kids is like, I swear to God, it's fucking like Power Rangers but without the Power Ranger part.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's a series of those.
That sounds comically good.
What's even more fucked up is that in the other, some of the other films, like those motherfuckers all die. They all got.
Damn.
They all get got.
Spoiler.
Yes.
Warning. None.
Yes. Those movies are fucking wild. Watch them anyway.
I plan.
They're not scary. They're just fucking weird. They're fucking weird. I've seen some weird shit in my time watching these movies. Swear to God. So,
do you think you're better for it?
I would say yes. I would say yes. I would say yes. Factual.
Good.
So, the idea of him invading into people's minds, it's someone getting into your subconscious. It's like as if they're rifling through your underwear drawer.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. So
I don't have anything weird in there though, so.
But the other thing is that like
most of my underwear is dirty also, so.
For the time, teenagers are always thinking about sex. So Freddy was also naturally an extension of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The one scene with Tina and Rod in the very beginning.
Oh, I was going to say the scene of her picking up the phone and the tongue.
Oh, that as well.
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah. It looked very special effects, but still gross.
It did, yeah. But it was funny because they were going the fuck at it.
They were going the fuck at it.
I don't understand why then Glenn and Nancy decided to like sleep in different rooms. It was like, okay, weird.
You know.
And then Depp's over here like, fuck morality.
Yeah.
Because Nancy was all, no, we're here to make sure that Tina's okay. Tina's just fine.
Tina's doing great.
She's doing until she gets gutted.
But you know, she's doing great. So, a favorite scene is when Freddy drags Tina across the ceiling.
Yes. I must know.
And they shot some really nasty stuff.
Oh.
There was one particular disturbing shot of him. So this is a collection of different, I'm about to list off a collection of some of the different scenes that I will talk about. Mm-hmm. So there's a disturbing shot of the Freddy Krueger character between her legs in the bath.
Yeah.
That they couldn't get past the sensors.
Mm.
And then the scene where Johnny's character gets swallowed into the bed and his blood pours upwards.
Yes.
So there's a lot of crazy shit going up in there. Especially because a lot of it's actually that some of those scenes are actually filmed upside down.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was wondering that, actually.
You're going to learn a lot more real soon.
With the blood, because the way it was like going across the floor, I was like, and especially when she was being dragged across the ceiling, I was like,
We're going to get into it.
Okay.
We're going to get into it. So, the makeup itself of Freddy's took 3.5 hours each morning.
Mm.
And it was uncomfortable, hot, and itchy.
Yeah.
He remembered seeing some of the teenagers waltz onto set one day, envying their youth and beauty. And he was like, wait a minute. I need to channel this jealousy into Freddy.
Yeah.
So, because he also played this character over 8 films.
Oh, really?
So he never really left this actor. And sometimes he said that he'd be stuck in traffic in LA. And Freddy would just like come out.
Oh.
And he'd do the Freddy voice and shout, "Get out of my way, motherfucker." So, obviously, he's become an iconic boogeyman character. But the films were obviously so much more. Mm-hmm. They're also about a strong girl surviving Freddy. She'll realize her inner strength and beat this symbol of patriarchy.
Yeah.
So, Nancy in the movie is basically like Alien's Ripley for teenagers.
Yeah.
So Ripley's like the adult inspiration, whereas Nancy's this teen inspiration. Mm-hmm. So the dream sequences, the parts where Nancy's feet get stuck into the stairs.
Yes, that was so weird.
Was based on real nightmares that people have had.
Oh.
This is where it's going to be.
Why would you do that? What do you mean? Huh? What do you mean?
The steps were made of mushroom soup. It was the same beige as the carpet.
And they made her...
And the set stank. And they made her step into it.
That's nasty. I would never see
it
mushrooms
was mushroom
the same.
Soup.
I love me a good mushroom.
They had her step into mushroom soup.
Mushrooms are delicious. But after that, I think
How
I would
far
need...
her feet
they were
sank?
in there. They were in there.
Gross.
Why would they use... They did not need to do
mushroom
that.
Soup?
They didn't need to do that.
Mushroom soup?
I'm telling you, they didn't need to do that. They could have used...
Well, they had 1.1 million. What the fuck are you talking about? They weren't going to use something else. Mushroom soup is cheap. They could go to the dollar store if they wanted to for mushroom soup. They had 1.1 million.
Oh my god.
They only had so much to work with. Granted, when you hear this one set piece, you're like, how the fuck did they only have 1.1 million? Fucking wild.
Hit me with it.
So, the scene where he puts his head through the bedroom wall was created with loads of Lycra from a DIY store.
Okay.
The special effects designer Jim Doyle came up with the idea of creating a wall with a hole and spandex over it so that Krueger could press against it and give the illusion that he was trying to reach Nancy through the wall.
Yeah.
So, funny enough...
I'm not gonna lie to you, that scene was kind of unimpressive to me.
I like the concept. I actually was...
Concept was good.
I'm
I'm not a fan of the way it was
I didn't get to fulfill it, but it was one of the concepts that I was thinking of doing for my thesis because I liked the visual of it.
Yeah.
But I obviously did not have the time nor the resources to really do that at the time. But it was...
Well, with 1.1 million, you could do that in this whole movie, so...
yeah. The Freddy Krueger in that specific scene isn't Robert, but it's Doyle himself.
No, because I could tell it wasn't Freddy.
Who got to play the famous slasher for just that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bath sequence. This is wild because there's no fucking way you would have known this. The bath, it was 8 feet deep.
So how was she sitting in there like that?
So she floated
like,
on
a
the
ledge?
surface.
Uh-huh.
And there was a special effects guy that was below her.
Is that why her neck looked all bent like that?
She was floating on the surface. And then there was a special effects guy that was below her in a scuba suit. And Wes would tap on the side when he wanted him to raise the Freddy claw between her legs.
Which, by the way, real weird.
But here's the thing. Well, that adds to the sexual stuff.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of funny because to this day, she still feels a little uncomfortable when taking baths.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She finds it scary to take a bath.
Aw, poor girl. So it traumatized her a little bit.
A little bit. You also have to think, like, there's 8 feet of water below you.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And was it, like, narrow like that?
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to be the scuba diver.
Well, I don't know if it was narrow. So it was the bathtub. I can't remember. It wasn't a clawfoot. It was like one of those like standard showery kind of things. So it would have that square. So I'm assuming underneath was like a larger tank.
That's what I was wondering.
I would assume that there's probably a larger tank because there would have to be a way for him to get out without coming through the set piece.
Mm-hmm. Probably on the other side of the wall.
I would think so. Yeah. So to get to that sequence of her being dragged across the wall.
Yeah.
The wall-to-ceiling drag was accomplished with a rotating room.
Yo. How did they only have 1.1 million?
Trust me, it gets even wilder in the next paragraph that I have here because it's a paragraph for a reason. So, a rotating room created by mechanical special effects designer Jim Doyle. Doyle explains that Wes wanted something really big and fantastic and out there for the first death. So I suggested a rotating room. Craven described the room as a hairy situation with no wires, just vertigo, and a panic attack inducing rotations. With all the items nailed down and the cameraman strapped into an airplane seat attached to the wall.
What the fuck?
Room itself.
I need a video of this.
The room itself was not mechanical. It took several crew members on
turn
either
it?
side of the contraption
to
manually flip the room around.
That's insane.
Wait till I get the Glen death.
You're not done?
Which is the Glen death is intense.
Do you think they use the same room?
So they used the rotating room again.
Yeah.
So even though it was a nightmare to shoot in, when it came time to film Glen's death, the filmmakers went back to the rotating room.
And that's why the blood was going sideways on the ceiling.
So the pressure was on. Not only because the blood effect was complicated, working with water always is, but because they had one take to do it in.
Yeah, otherwise everything would be ruined.
The room was flipped upside down, and the crew prepared for the effect. A sheet-lined chute for the blood was carved out of the middle of the bed, with crew members positioned above on the outside of the room, poised to pour in gallons of blood-colored water.
Yeah.
So they would rip him out. So he would be pulled out through the top.
Oh.
But
So
for us, it's below.
Yeah.
But he's pulled this way. He's pulled from above.
Weird.
He's hanging.
They made the gravity in there look really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything was really falling inside, but it was really being pulled up.
With the bed now positioned at the top of the room, Craven strapped into a camera chair, gave the word go. As cinematographer, Jacques Hatkin explained in Never Sleep Again, which is a documentary about the film.
Oh, I do have something. Yeah.
When the crew began to dump the water through the hole, as soon as it hit the ceiling and hit the light, it immediately electrified the water. So the guy pouring the water got electrocuted.
Lawsuit.
Or so as Doyle puts it, oops.
No.
Not only was the water now electrified, but Hatkins described the water began to slosh from side to side, which threw off the weight of the room, causing it to shift and the operators to lose control.
Oh my gosh.
The room rolled all the way over, and crew members leapt out of the way as cables and ropes ripped out of their rig.
Oh my god.
As Craven recounts it in the documentary, the water went into all the lights, and there were these huge flashes in the dark. We were spinning in the dark with all of these sparks going on. The wall had a window in it, and of course, the blood poured out onto the operators, desperately trying to regain control of the room. The room finally stopped rocking once all the liquid poured out, leaving the crew still attached to the structure, suspended upside down for around 20 minutes in the dark and covered in blood.
Oh my god. I need to watch this documentary.
It is the wildest. I read this and I was like, no fucking way.
That's actually crazy.
That's fucking insane.
No one got hurt other than, the guy that got electrocuted.
But even that, like,
wow.
it's
that could have killed a lot of people.
That could have killed people. That could have killed people.
That could have killed the entire crew. Like, dead, done.
And here's the thing.
Oh god.
So the up is down and vice versa rationale of the original geyser is easy enough to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
But thanks to the series of unfortunate events, the blood didn't just pool on the ceiling. After the initial splash, the liquid slips and streams at angles that just don't make sense. It's a lurch that defies all logic.
Yeah.
Gravity, as it exists in dreams, which is to say elusive, frustrating, and terrifyingly unpredictable. Even if they'd had the resources to do a second take, they do not think that they could have replicated the effect as it appeared on screen.
Yeah, I'm surprised that everything.
And for that, it was a happy accident.
Yeah, I wouldn't say happy. I don't know about happy.
Because they got it in one take.
I would not have been happy as a crew member. Lawsuit.
Because the take was successful.
It was successful.
They got it in that one take.
Which is wild. I'm surprised that they...
Especially knowing that thing fucking went insane.
Like, that's why I'm shocked that the footage was still there when it was all done.
It's fucking wild, my dude. It's fucking wild.
Oh, my... Wow.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
When I read this, I was like...
Jaw on the floor.
When I got to the point where I was like, the man got electrocuted, I was like, what the fuck? And then it was like the room spin. Ripping cables. Blackouts. Hanging. Craziness. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Chaos.
And here's the thing. This isn't the first people that did a rotating room. Rotating rooms have pre-existed in movies before that point. But, man, shit was terrifying.
Yeah, that's intense. That's very intense.
Shit is scary.
Oh, the things that happen on horror movie sets, huh?
That's some wild crap. But yeah, that is my conclusion to my crazy ass notes that I collected.
That was great.
So what do you have for me?
Not that.
Not electrocutions, chaos, and spinning cubes?
No, I have darker shit. I have the lore of Freddy Krueger.
Cougar.
Freddy Cougar.
Okay.
That sounds like what his name would be if there was a parody.
Freddy
Cougar. So his full name is Frederick Charles Krueger. He was born to a woman named Amanda Krueger, who was a nun who worked in a hospital.
These are in the future movies. So you're going to get a little bit of background about what's in some of these movies.
Yeah. Sadly, very dark, very trigger warning. Apparently, she was raped by over 100
Yeah.
psychopaths.
It's in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up moment in the movie, but yes, it's there.
Yeah. She became pregnant, obviously, with Freddie. And then later in his life, he obviously became the murderer.
Yep.
The spring word became murderer in Springwood, notorious for killing children. The media labeled him as the Springwood slasher. This is where I'm gonna talk a little bit more about what was in the movie.
Yeah.
When he was apprehended, he was released on a technicality because there was a search warrant that somebody didn't sign in the right place.
Yes.
So he was let go. He was freed. So that's why.
Because even if they found anything, technically they illegally searched his place.
Yes. So that's why all the parents were like, vengeance, and burned him
took
alive.
matters into their own fucking hands.
Honestly, that's what people need to do. Wink, wink, hint, hint. In today's society. Anyway. I don't mean murder, but I mean like... What? No, I don't mean murder. I don't mean murder, but I definitely mean like standing up for yourself.
Yes.
Apart from the 20 children that he killed before he was burned alive, he killed about 40 people after he died.
Yes.
It's like in their dreams. So he had about like 60 victims in total. Wild.
Because he was intentionally going after the children of the parents.
Yes. Yeah.
Who killed him.
Mm-hmm. So his strengths and some of his powers include possession of humans, objects or animals, and even his own corpse.
Yep.
Apparently. I'm guessing you know all about this because you've seen all the movies.
Yeah.
I have no idea. He can see inside the victims' minds and use their fear against them, obviously, in their dreams. But also if they're under the influence, so if they're drunk or they're high or whatever.
Yeah, hopping back to the body thing real quick. There's definitely a scene in the movie where our main dream warrior girl, who I totally fucking forget her name.
The way it just sounded like the word you just said went boyoing because you went warrior.
There's definitely a scene of her trying to like finish him for good with the help of the mom.
Yeah.
His mother.
Oh.
Stuff. And there's definitely a creepy...
Oh, are you talking about
fetus?
Amanda?
There's a creepy fetus Kruger.
Ew.
That then becomes big Kruger.
It's
creepy. Yeah, it's bad. It's creepy.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, as I speak about this, please feel free to add some stuff. And then obviously he can absorb the souls of his victims, and that's how he gains his power. And he also gains like his abilities based on the characteristics of the people that he kills.
Yeah, because you see an aspect of that in the movies, because he will like pull his shirt or anything, and in his stomach you can see the faces. You can like they have, I think, a scene in one of the movies of like faces like.
Oh yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unsettling.
Yeah.
So now I'm going into the more inspirations. So Craven said that one of his inspirations came from an article in the LA Times about a family who escaped the killing fields in Cambodia and came to the US. So they were fine, like everything was fine, but then all of a sudden the son kept having very disturbing nightmares. And he told his parents that he was afraid to go to sleep, and that the thing chasing him would get him, so he would try to stay awake for like days at a time.
Yeah.
But when he finally did go to sleep, his parents thought everything was over until they heard screams in the middle of the night. And by the time they got to him, he was dead.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. He died in the middle of his nightmare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that became the central storyline for
because
Nightmare on Elm Street.
wasn't it that his like heart gave out or something?
I'm not actually sure. I'm pretty sure that.
I remember there being, I don't know if it's that story or if it's another one I'm thinking about, where someone died in their sleep, and you know the nightmare was so intense that it actually caused their heart to give out.
It could be that.
I don't know if it was that
if
kid
you-
or if it was someone else.
If you're a child escaping killing fields in Cambodia, I mean,
The stress on your body's intense.
Yeah. Poor baby.
To compound that with now you're permanently having reoccurring nightmares,
Yeah.
and you're also sleep depriving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yep. In the documentary Never Sleep Again
Mhm.
that they made, Craven also said that the inspiration for Krueger himself was there was a man walking down the street when he was a kid,
Mhm.
and he somehow knew that he was watching him, and so when he turned around to like meet his eyes, he had like a really frightening, creepy look, and the man was wearing a fedora, and then that ultimately made Craven want to add that to Freddy, to add to his frightening allure.
Gotcha.
So, and then for Krueger's knife hands,
Mm-hmm.
so that idea came from many sources.
Yeah.
Craven didn't want, he wanted to avoid typical weapons like machetes and guns
Yes.
and things like that, and he wanted it to be more unique.
Mm-hmm.
So he drew inspiration from his own fear of cat claws.
Huh.
Yeah. And also from late night infomercials that showcase knives. So
Infomercials.
yes,
They're terrifying.
They're so scary, man. But he combined those two aspects and then created the idea of the glove with blades.
It's a cool ass fucking prop though.
Yeah, it really is. I will agree with that. But yeah, they also said that apparently Krueger's only on screen for 7 minutes total
Yeah, he's not there for very
in
long.
the first movie.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot. But I read that and I was like, I was shocked because it feels like he is in a lot of it. But he's not.
I mean, it's like the movie Bride of Frankenstein. She's technically only on screen for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. And even Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when they'll like the movie's like main characters not really in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's okay. That's fine. I think despite some of its technical flaws,
It's a
I
good
enjoy
movie.
it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's a classic.
It's a good like, it's Halloween time, let's put on like a scary movie
Yes.
kind of thing. It's like
Especially so I can watch Johnny Depp in a crop top. Thank you. And now every time I watch that blood scene with him, I'll know the chaos.
the fucking insanity that occurred during
now
that
I want to
moment.
like watch that scene again and like be like, when was the moment that shit hit the fan?
The second it hit that light in that
Wow.
center,
Boom.
boom, electrocuted. And then shit hit the fan.
Literally. More
Literally.
like blood hit the light.
The blood hit the light and fucking caused chaos.
That's going to be the new saying. Instead of shit hit the fan, I'm going to say blood hit the light.
Blood hit the light, man. Blood hit the light.
Really did. Smashed it right in.
Fuck yeah.
Things are rolling.
Sparks flew.
Sparks flew. Shit rolled.
Shit rolled.
Things were rocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I got, really. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah. I definitely had a whole lot of shit to talk about, so
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
I guess you could go into like dreams and dream studies and things like that. But I'm also gonna drop some knowledge on some dreams here.
Cool.
Brief history. So dream interpretations date back to 3 to 4,000 BC. They were documented on clay tablets by ancient Sumerians and Babylonians. So the people in these societies were unable to distinguish the dream world and reality of everyday life. So they saw the dream world basically as an extension of reality, which crazy. And that the dream world was more powerful than
Yes, I
the
can
actual
understand that.
waking world. So, let's see. Whoa. Back in the Greek and Roman era, dream interpreters accompanied military leaders into battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were so significant and seen as like messages from the gods and viewed as, and in religious context, they contain messages that must be obeyed by the dreamer. That was in the Greek and Roman era. And then in Egypt, they had priests that also had the job of being dream interpreters for the pharaohs and the high leaders. And the Egyptians recorded their dreams in hieroglyphics. People with super vivid dreams were believed to be blessed and were considered special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people who had the power to interpret these dreams were considered divinely gifted. And apparently in the Bible, there's over 700 mentions of dreams. So, that's wild.
Yeah.
A lot of cultures believe that when you dream, it's an actual place that your spirit and soul go to every night and
I'm
visit.
not surprised.
Yeah. The Chinese believe that the soul leaves the body to go into this world. However, if they were suddenly awakened, their soul might fail to return to the body. Even some Chinese today are very weary of alarm clocks. For Native American tribes and Native Mexican cultures, they also have the same belief in a distinct dream dimension. They believe their ancestors live in their dreams and take on non-human forms like plants or animals and symbols in their dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the earliest recorded dream is from a Sumerian king of Dumuzi of Uruk, who ruled just before Gilgamesh, sometime around 2500 BC. And basically in his dream, let's see. He said an eagle seized a lamb from the sheepfold, and a falcon catches a sparrow on the reed fence. The cup lies on its side. Dumuzi lives no more. And that's basically what's written on, like, the tablets that they would have, I guess. The sheepfold is given to the wind. I have no idea what this means. But he freaked out about his dream and occasioned the first recorded dream interpretation.
Gotcha. Okay.
To his sister. So his sister wrote it down for him because she was a professional, I guess.
Okay.
And said that some bad shit was about to go down. So you do well to hide. That's basically what she said.
It's like some shit's gonna go down, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots and lots of stuff. There have been many scientific and spiritual studies of dreams and things, but the scientific version is has to do with neurotransmitters or your brain chemicals. So,
yeah.
Let's see. There are lots of theories about it. So, people think that it's how you regulate your emotions, how you deal with your fears, how you keep your memory, playing things like your day-to-day life to help you remember them.
Yeah.
Or to help you solve real-world problems. But there are so many questions. Like, why did I dream about this? Why are my dreams so disturbing? Why do I keep dreaming about this specific person? Because so many people think that they're going to find the answers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy zeitgeist kind of thing.
I believe that it's like you dream about what you think about, like in your subconscious. And yeah, it's your way of dealing with things.
Yeah.
Things you haven't maybe fully processed or even things that happened to you recently, just, in a weird way. I think it's really easy to interpret dreams and what their meanings are, and
yeah,
not I don't know why a lot of people are like, why did I dream about this? Why do you think?
Yeah. I would agree.
Let me drop some dream facts on you.
Okay.
We may not remember dreaming, but everyone is thought to dream between 3 to 6 times per night.
Mm-hmm.
It is thought that each dream only lasts from 5 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Around 95% of dreams are forgotten by the time a person gets out of bed.
Yeah.
Dreaming can help you learn and develop long-term memories.
Mm-hmm.
And blind people dream more with other sensory components compared with sighted people.
Also, the longer you're asleep, the more you dream and the more vivid your dreams become. And the longer they get.
Yeah, there are many explanations of why do we dream, and it's
yeah,
representing unconscious desires, interpreting random signals from the brain, consolidating and processing information that you've gathered throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then also working as a form of psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
Preparing for possible future threats. I felt that one hard.
Yeah.
I've been dreaming about so many natural disasters. It's insane. It's bad. But it's not even really natural. I had a dream about a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. And that can also be from just what you watch, what you intake.
Yeah. But I also then had a dream about a tsunami, and then I also had a dream about a volcanic eruption.
So you're thinking natural disasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Because if you didn't know of a certain natural disaster, you wouldn't dream of it.
Correct.
So they're all things that you know of.
There was one dream I had recently. It's always so freaking sad because it's I'm trying to get to all my family members, but we're all not in one spot, so it's really hard.
Yeah.
There was one where it was the volcanic eruption one, and there were some avatars in there from The Last Airbender,
mm-hmm.
and they were trying to help the volcano not erupt. Then they all died, and then we all died.
Well,
it's really, really great.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it wasn't a Kruger situation where I, actually died.
Well, yeah, because your body will,
it would char. It would look all lava-like.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying your body shocks you awake before you die in your dreams. 9 times out of 10, your body will shock you awake.
No, there was literally a time where I got squashed by a wall. It was coming down on me. And then it only got my body and not my head, so my brain was still active. It was weird. And that was another natural disaster when there was a giant fucking earthquake that was rolling
I had a dream where someone was pressing a marble into my eye.
No.
And I woke up with my eye in pain. I woke up with the sensation of something.
Well, there was probably something that was nothing around you that.
Nope.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Maybe Freddy Krueger is real.
I'm going to give you a very small play-by-play of each of the other films in this series. So, technically there are 9 films. Technically. 8 if you're just doing the Freddy Krueger stuff. 9 if you're adding Freddy versus Jason. So, the next movie is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. That has a Rotten Tomato score of 43.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially this movie follows a kid named Jesse who moves into the Nancy Thompson's former home. He starts having nightmares, and he has this one specific nightmare that is very reminiscent of being on a bus and it crashing and stuff like that. So over the course of the film, eventually Krueger is trying to get Jesse to kill for him.
Oh.
So Krueger starts trying to take over Jesse's body, eventually succeeding. There is an entire scene of a pool party that goes fucking ballistic. Lots of chaos in there. And our main character has a girlfriend named Lisa. She follows them to the factory to which Freddy died in. Mm-hmm. And in her confession of love, Jesse gains enough strength to overtake the soul of Freddy Krueger and is able to push him out of his body. But in classic Freddy Krueger film fashion, the end of the film is a scene of him and his friends all on a bus.
With the Krueger stripes?
And all of a sudden, Krueger's claw hand bursts out of the chest of one of his friends, and it is the same dream. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of doing the whole repeating. Now, the next ones are the ones that are fun because they are all technically connected. So 3, 4, and 5, and I think 3, 4, and 5, I know for a fact, are all actively connected to each other. And that is Dream Warriors. Mm-hmm. Dream Master, the Dream Child. So, in Dream Warriors, a teenager named Kristen Parker dreams that Freddy Krueger is chasing her. He attacks her in her bedroom, and she thinks she is already awoken, making it look like as she has slit her wrist in the real world. Mm. So, obviously, believing that she's suicidal, they send her to the West Hill Psychiatric Hospital.
Yeah.
So she's placed in with a bunch of other teenagers who are also in varying degrees of their own mental states.
Yeah.
So, also overarching over all of these is the Freddy Krueger nursery rhyme, which is the 1, 2, he's coming for you, 3, 4, better lock your door shit. That is a nursery rhyme that is played throughout this whole fucking franchise. Mm-hmm. And a group of very creepy little blonde girls, or little girls, who are jumping rope.
Yeah. That was
being real creepy. And it's in every single one of these films.
Is it really?
Yes. And it kind of plays out, I think, at the last one. It's been a bit since I've watched it. But, like I mentioned before, a lot of these different characters, they have this, like, dream session where they all like group hypnotize so they can experience a shared dream and discover their dream powers. So each of the different characters have their own little powers, but one of them in this experience of the group sleep separates and he gets captured. So he becomes permanently in a state of coma. And they have to go into the dream world and save him. So it's an insane film. And I swear to God, like, it's almost like it's like you're experiencing a weird fucking vivid dream that doesn't make any sense. Now, this one did get a 67 on its Rotten Tomatoes score. So not too bad, but also not fantastic. But it's definitely one of the interesting ones because it's basically Freddy is playing against all of the different characters and their powers and also their life experiences. Because I think like one of the girls is a drug addict and she was being clean and then fucking he's like needles for fingers. Yeah. So the next film is the fourth one, which is the Dream Masters one. And so it's years after the previous film where the different characters have been released from the psychiatric place and are living their lives as normal teens with their families. However, Christine still believes that Krueger will come back, even though they defeated him in their first encounter with him. And
not. There's another movie.
There's several movies.
Obviously not, if there's another movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's several movies after this. So to reassure Kristen that Krueger is dead, the kids take her to the boiler room in the dream and show her that the boiler is cold. But when she meets up with her boyfriend and everything, some stuff occurs, and I don't want to get into the whole thing, but obviously he comes back and each of the kids is taken care of.
Yeah.
As now Krueger has come back and is like, I will now use your powers against you and I will fuck you over. So Freddy actually stalks different characters through others, transforming them into different things. There's so much shit. And apparently in this movie, there's a nursery rhyme called The Dream Master that she recites it to force Freddy to face his own reflection, which causes the souls within him to revolt.
Whoa.
And that strain tears Freddy apart.
Cool.
So all the friend's souls are released and leave Freddy as a hollow husk. And again, because it's him, there's a moment later where there's a fountain and they toss a coin and this girl thinks she sees Freddy's face in it, but like ignores it. And I'm just like,
dumb.
Again, he's gonna come again. And then Dream Child. Now, this one is the one that has the creepy babies. So there's so we get our new characters who were in the previous one, which is Alice and Dan. They were some of the main characters in the previous film. I just didn't get in on their shit. So in this film, oh yeah, and Dream Master had a 57 for Rotten Tomato. And then Dream Child has a 31. It's like, it's almost as if they keep going, they just keep getting worse.
It's almost like it's Saw.
It almost is like it's Saw.
Well, if they make a 10th one, it might be really, really good.
So Alice is kind of having her dream power moments in this film, and she sees Amanda giving birth to a gruesomely deformed baby.
Yeah.
And she tries to collect the baby before it escapes, but it sneaks out of the operating room.
How does a baby sneak out of an operating room?
So she follows the baby into the church where she had defeated Freddy in the previous film. The baby finds Freddy's remains and quickly grows into an adult.
Weird.
Hinting to Alice that he has found the key to coming back. She contacts Dan, who falls asleep en route to see her.
Yeah.
And Freddy electrocutes him and turns him into a frightful man/machine hybrid before veering him into oncoming traffic.
What the fuck?
So there's a lot of weird visuals in all of these movies, especially getting into these. And all of her friends keep like falling asleep and getting their asses killed. So Alice eventually goes to bed to find Freddy and save her son, because she herself is Pregante. Realizing Freddy has been hiding in her every time she fell asleep. She draws Freddy out from within herself. And there's another girl named Yvonne who finds Amanda's remains at the asylum. And Amanda joins the fight in the dream world, encouraging them to use the power Freddy has been giving. And they destroy Freddy. And his infant form is absorbed by his mother. Yeah.
No.
So it's, again, fucking crazy shit happens in these movies. And it's, I don't know, man. It's just, these movies just keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Like I said, the Wes Craven one and the New Nightmare focus on retellings of the film. And even
I feel like they could have gone in such a good direction with these, and then they chose that.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff. These last couple are also just in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not even going to worry about those ones because they're just nuts. At this point, I would definitely say watch them just to experience the chaos. If anything, watch the Dream Warrior stuff. Watch Dream Warrior, Dream Master, and Dream Child. And it'll give you a taste of, like, what the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's, like, weird circus weirdness.
Lovely.
It's fucking just... I feel like they kind of dipped comical
Yeah.
with him on many of them. Very Funhouse vibes in the later films. I will definitely say that the newest Nightmare on Elm Street definitely has the creepy factor because it's retelling the old story. But yeah, just a little bit about those different films.
Definitely weird.
But yeah, if anything, watch this first one, the 3 Dream ones because they're fucking weird, and then the most recent so that you can see the modern telling of the story. Because he looks fucking weird in the modern telling.
Does he?
He does not look good. Like, hold on, I'm gonna show you.
Reboot failure.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with the makeup.
No, reboot failures.
Because the first one
Real.
is good and it's creepy and it's unsettling. The other one, it just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. It looks like a prosthetic.
The first one looks like a prosthetic, but the second one is just like...
It looks faker.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You got 1 stars?
Yes, I do.
Go for it.
I may be new to the horror movie genre. That's always the worst line ever. But it is my understanding that horror movies are supposed to be, scary, right? They're meant to leave you cowering behind a pillow, behind your sofa, gripping your friends, or whoever you're watching it with, like a boa constrictor.
Fucking what? Okay.
They're trying to be poetic with it.
They really are.
Afraid to turn lights off and reluctant to go to a farm or a castle, or in this movie's case, reluctant to fall asleep. Nightmare on Elm Street is meant to do all that and is applauded as a horror classic. Problem was, I wasn't scared once. He thinks he's a fucking writer. I knew of it from a young age and vowed never to watch it because of the plot and my overactive imagination. But I sat and watched it with a former girlfriend, still worried about the aftermath of watching it, made worse by her saying, "You'll piss yourself with terror." However, not once was I terrified, shocked, or left cowering behind her, or anything near me. In fact, by the time the credits rolled, I was sat with a confused scowl on my face, wondering how it was considered a classic. I'll probably never fully understand why, either. To me, this movie is one of those that is overhyped to the point that when you eventually watch it, you're left puzzled and somewhat underwhelmed by it. Others may well enjoy it and have memories of it, but I did not enjoy it at all.
Okay, number
Man,
one.
that was a long-ass sentence.
You're new to the horror franchise. Maybe don't start with the 80s.
Right. Yeah.
If you want to be scared, watch something recent. Because the quality and the skill is significantly higher. Do not start with the 80s.
No. People back then were scared by these because of that's just like the best
that was
quality
the best quality that they had.
Yeah.
Go back and play a PS2 game and fucking come back to your PC, your current PC or PS5 and fucking don't be shocked because people who played the original thought that was amazing.
Yep.
Trust me. If you want to be scared, because this movie's not scary. For the time, yes. Now, not even slightly.
No.
Not even a little bit. It's a little funny sometimes. It ain't a scary movie. Not anymore. But it is a horror classic because it's part of that original group of characters that spurred the world.
Yep.
So when it came out, it was a hit. Now it's just a good kind of scary movie to put on during that Halloween time that you want to get in that mood.
Yep.
But to come at it and be like, how dare it be a thing? What?
Oh, believe me,
Makes no sense.
I really hope your thoughts have changed by this point, because if you're new to the horror movie genre, maybe you stopped after this movie, but I really hope you went and you learned.
Yeah, because even for me, entering into the horror genre more than normal, I started with older films because I knew that they would not get me as much.
Yeah.
Because of the quality. I still wanted to watch them because they are the classics, and they are what many people in my generation know.
Mm-hmm.
And many people recognize. And I made sure that I started with the characters that everybody recognized and knew, so that I was familiar with them as well. So the point is like, yeah, that's great and all, but you're not going to be scared by any of those movies because fucking 90% of them are all like before the 2000s.
Yeah.
Versus fucking when we watched The Boogeyman.
Don't talk about it.
Or fucking even The Nun 2, or even any of those Conjuring films that are later films.
Yeah.
Are amazing.
They're so scary.
Like, for fuck's sake, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing even some of the other movies that we haven't gotten to see yet. Like, I still want to watch Imaginary.
I did watch that, yeah.
And Abigail and Tarot and things like that.
Though.
So,
but I did watch Imaginary. It was kind of... It had its moments.
But it's like, you know, even Talk to Me has been acclaimed by so many fucking people because of the story. Mm-hmm. Because it is compelling. It's a compelling story. And it's a fascinating look into teenagers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure.
Expand your horizons, young one.
I do agree. I have a few more.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Johnny Depp, and I don't even want to speak this. Besides Johnny Depp, and he wasn't even so great with his lack of time, this was the worst horror movie imaginable. Freddy Krueger was a friggin' clown and a putz. The main character was the worst actress since the backup extra from my 7th grade school play. The whole movie was a joke, especially the visible mattress when Freddy fell over the stair rail. I didn't know that
also
this makes me want to go back and look.
This film was in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even try to hide it. The entire plot was absurd. I never felt the slightest tint of fear, and mostly wanted to barf at the close-up on the girl's face. That's fucked up. The only part of this movie I enjoyed was the bathtub scene, and only because I'm an 18-year-old kid without a girlfriend. You're fucking terrible.
So you're an idiot, AK, is what you're telling me.
Because then he goes on to say, I piss on this movie, Wes Craven, and especially the casting director for tying Johnny Depp's great name to such a horrible film.
You're 18. Get over yourself. And number 2, watch a modern movie. Learn to respect the name of Wes Craven.
Yep.
Learn to respect that every actor has its start. Mm-hmm. And learn to respect that without that movie that you just pissed on, we wouldn't have many of the movies we have today.
Facts.
So you have to look back at older films with respect and reverence, because without them, we would not have what we have now.
No, it's true.
The fucking chaos electrocution shit, without that, we probably wouldn't have some crazy shit that we have now.
Yeah.
Like, all things happen for a reason.
Yep. And in time.
Also, intentionally, that girl, the character of the girl, Nancy, she's meant to have this innocence about her. Yeah. The whole film is supposed to be like a corruption of innocence, but that she is stronger than Freddy. Mm-hmm. So, also, just disrespectful.
That was very disrespectful.
Saying the close-up of the girl, like, you need to reprioritize. Stop acting like a teenager. Grow the fuck up a little bit.
No, literally.
Like, there's a difference between acting like a shit-eating a teenager versus being, like, Just be a respectful adult. Just be a respectful human being.
Because you are 18 now. You're not a kid.
Like,
He said, I'm just an 18-year-old kid. No, you're not. You're an adult.
like, we're above the age of 18, obviously. And fucking, yeah, we still have whimsy, fun, and chaos in our lives. But like,
But I have never said I'm going to piss on something because I didn't like it.
People can hate movies.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a level of it that you have to give respect.
Yeah.
It still got made.
It's true. People worked hard. And maybe some of the people who worked on it didn't even like it. You don't know.
Yeah. You never know.
Anyway, I do have a few more. I thought these were funny. They're kind of short. This next one is, I've been more frightened watching Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
I don't know what you're watching on SNL, but
I don't know what you're watching on there.
it makes me curious. Like, what scene did you see? Okay. Scariest part of this movie was the 80s clothing, which I agree. I hated it. I hated all the outfits other than the crop top. Duh.
Well, you don't like 80s fashion.
I don't. I really don't. I think it's so bad. I don't piss on it, though. I respect it. But the big hair and
It was the 80s.
the whatever they were doing, the sweaters on top of like cargo, like slacks. No,
Was
thank
the
you.
80s.
No, thank you. Not for me. Not for me at all. And then the last one is, this movie is a piece of shit, just like all the other ones. You can love these movies. If you can love these movies, then by all means do so. Just don't do it around me, if you please.
They're not terrible.
They're
They're good
not.
watches. They're good watches. It's just, they're fucking weird. They're weird, but they're,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
So to continue our good old fun here, next week's is Child's Play. So that one's going to be nice and fun. So like, comment, subscribe on our stuff. Give us 5-star reviews. You can send us an email at horrorunmasked@gmail.com. Follow us at Instagram and Twitter at Horror Unmasked. Listen to us on Spotify and iTunes at Horror Unmasked Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Horror Unmasked Podcast. And I think with that,
There's only one thing left to ask. Will you fear?
or will you fear not?